Hello, today on the Squirrel Tail I'm going to do a quick video on bluing the lock. I've seen a lot of questions on some of the different Facebook pages about bluing. This is a technique I kind of found through trial and error. Like I said, I found it through trial and error, so if you know a better way, let me know, but this seems to work pretty good for me. Now you first want to get your parts nice and polished up. All parts are external. You don't need to do the tumbler and the sear because they're on the inside of the lock. You're going to need rubbing alcohol, gloves, a plastic bag, and then Vane's instant gun blue. There might be other bluing compounds that would work with this technique, but Vane's is what I use. It's relatively inexpensive and does a nice job. So the first thing I'm going to do is you want to put gloves on, and that way you're not getting your finger oils all over the part, and it'll also protect your hands from the bluing compound. Now I'm just going to tell you guys right now, this is by no means a traditional thing. If you're trying to build your muzzleloader 100% traditional, which I can completely respect that, and I like to do that sometimes myself, this is not your technique. The first thing you gotta do is get all the grease off the lock parts. And I'm just using rubbing alcohol. There's other degreasing solutions that will work. I know I got one from Brownells a while ago I was using. But you just gotta make sure you get a good bit of rubbing alcohol. Now for whatever reason, like you polished it and then let it sit, and you put like a heavy oil on it, you'd want to, take extra time. These parts are already pretty clean, so I'm just trying to get that last bit of oil off them. And like I said, I already polished these parts. To what degree you polish them, in theory, the nicer you make them, the better it'll look. The screws I oftentimes flame blue, but this technique works for them too. So all the parts I'm bluing are the lock plate, the two screws, the one for the hammer and the one for the top jaw itself, and the frizzen. So once I get them thoroughly degreased, I'll go over them one more time. Let the alcohol dry. And try not to drop things on the ground like I just did. God dang it, I'm not used to holding stuff with gloves. Yeah, get some more rags, or toilet paper in this particular case. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this, just a normal plastic bag, and I'm going to pour a swig of this bluing compound in here. You really don't need that much, and you can add more. Don't do that, and try to get in the bag, not on the ground. So I get a little bit in there. Hope you can see about what I got. I'm going to wipe the parts down right before I put them in. and just carefully drop them in the bag. Then I'm going to seal the bag up. Take the air out. And I'm going to work the bag around. And you can start to see it's changing colors already. Yeah, I just keep working the bag and you're going to get a real nice even coating of the bluing solution all over the lock parts. Now, this technique will also work for other parts on the gun, your trigger, your screws, but I prefer to flame blue my screws. But yeah, any parts, smaller parts that can fit in a bag, you can blue using this. I guess if you had a big enough bag, you can maybe try a barrel, but I haven't done that. You can kind of see it's already getting quite a bit of color. After I do that, I'll take another rag out. Pour them out. Now this is a small Siler lock I'm using for a bench gun, if you were wondering. I'll even save the bag, because then if I do have another lock or more parts I'm going to do quickly, I can still use that solution. But as you can see, it has a real beautiful color to it. Nice and even. Something I struggle to do in the past. I've tried to use like a swab or a sponge. I struggle to get it even. I'll then wipe off the vein bluing compound. And then lay it on the bench. And now I want to neutralize whatever chemical reaction is going there. So I take a little bit of ammonia, spray it down. And then dry them off. after I get the parts dried off. One thing I do want to do, I didn't want this back blued, so I'll take a stone just stone the back good and get that polished up. And then after that, you take your oil. I'm using Ballistol. Give your parts a good coat of oil. Yes, this process uses a lot of toilet paper. And there you go. Now you're ready to reassemble the lock, and you have a good, nicely blued looking lock for working on guns.